Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to the Town of Ocean Ridge lovely July meeting. A little late, but we're here. It's sunny outside, hot. It's in July. So would you call a roll, Kelly, please?
Commissioner Ayala,
Here.
Commissioner Cassidy,
Here.
Vice Mayor Cause,
Here.
and Mayor Pugh.
Here. Okay, we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, everyone. Are there any additions, deletions, or modifications to the agenda?
I would like to make a brief announcement during announcements.
Okay, do you want to do it during announcements?
Yes,
Okay.
and I also have a quick commissioner comment at the end.
All right, let's do that as number 8.
Okay.
What do you want to do that number? Doesn't matter.
7A.
7A.
7A. Anything else?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to add for number 19, temporary construction easement. Copies of that are in front of you, and that will be for the Phase 4 portion of the water main replacement. Additionally, I'd like to add for number 20, the task order that's associated with that project. The task order that's associated with the Harbor Drive North project, and that would be number 20
Okay.
for CAS.
So do you have to label them 18A and 18B?
No, just put them all in with 18 and put them all in with 20.
I put it
Could you-
19 and 20 is what I was asking for. Item 19?
Because Chrissy has,
No, I'm just saying you have a 19 and 20 here already.
right, but to her, she's going to add it.
Everything else is going to work
her
down.
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll renumber.
19A, we can.
Well, I just like
We have
proceed.
that all figured out? Is that, can we move forward?
Okay, is there approval of the agenda?
Switching to Sergeant Pylon, not Officer Pylon.
We'll get to that when we do the,
Okay.
So moved.
So, second?
all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, presentation and proclamations. We'll start with the presentation on the Palm Beach County Library System by Douglas Crane, Director of the Palm Beach County Library System.
Well,
Mr. Crane, thank you for coming.
For the Palm Beach County Library System. And I'm here tonight to give you an update on the county library system and late breaking news on things that are coming up. First of all, as a library director, when people learn of my job, they often ask me, well, why do we still need libraries? And what I understand when they ask that question is they think that a library is just a place with a big pile of books. And why do we need books now that we have the internet in hand? Well, I'm here tonight to show you, is it working on it?
Oh, it's got to be right. Excellent. Thank you. I'm here to show you that our libraries are busy and are much beloved within our communities. And I also want to talk a bit about how we can provide more service here in the town of Ocean Ridge. So if you can move to the first slide, please. Our vision for our library system is to open minds to a world of unlimited possibilities. We believe people bring their hopes, their dreams, their ambition to us here at the library, and we provide them with the services, the resources, and the space to make those possible. And this supports our mission to connect communities, inspire thought, and enrich lives. I have a packet of information for all of you at your desks here that you can go through. And I'm going to summarize a little bit of as we go through tonight. So if you could go to the next slide. First of all, I want to share that our libraries are big and busy. If you click ahead, you'll see some of the statistics from fiscal year 25. We had 2.68 million visits to Palm Beach County libraries, over 8.8 million items borrowed, both print and electronic. 353,000 people used our library meeting rooms and study rooms. We had almost 400,000 PC and internet sessions. And in a program that I'll share later, we actually served over 50,000 meals and snacks. We had 50,000 plus volunteer hours across our system. If you move to another click here, you'll see that we're actually one of the big 6 library systems in the state of Florida, meaning that we provide a higher level of service to our county than some of our other partners across the state. Now, the scope of our library system is interesting. We have 18 locations spread across Palm Beach County. If you click again, you'll see that we have locations from Tequesta down through the center part of the county, out through western Boca, and then out through our western communities, all the way to the shores of Lake Okeechobee. And this was possible through the Library Expansion Program 2, which was approved by voters in 2002, that allowed us to add 3 new libraries, replace 3 old buildings with new ones, expand 3 buildings, and renovate all of our locations. We also have a support facility on Cherry Road. It's hidden behind the Supervisor of Elections giant parking complex. And pictured here is our newest branch called Canyon Branch, opened in last January of 2025. It's a 33,000 square foot facility, state of the art. If you want to visit it, just drive down Boynton Beach Boulevard all the way pretty much to the end, past the turnpike, and you'll see it there. Now, and this shows a map of all of our locations across Palm Beach County. Now, to understand how our library system is funded, were created back in the late 60s by an act of the legislature. Prior to that, library service was provided by municipalities, but the growing unincorporated areas wanted library service. So they passed a statute that created the Palm Beach County Library System. It created a taxing district to financially support it. And today we cover all of the unincorporated area plus 24 municipalities, of which Ocean Ridge is one of them. We've held our millage rate steady at 0.5491 mils since 2011. And our operating budget last fiscal year is $116 million. Now, when you think about us, though, we are basically a small version of the county's general fund, meaning that we have to pay for all of our capital programs. We have to carry our own reserves, and any money in our budget can carry over to the next year. We also get a little bit of money from the state and private donations as well. So now the other thing is that we like to work with other municipalities. So we have a library cooperative, which includes 9 municipalities listed here. So the ones that are probably most applicable to your residents is, of course, the city of Boynton Beach and probably the town of Lantana. Those have their own municipal libraries, and your residents can get a free card with them as being part of the county's library district. There are only 6 municipalities that are not part of our library system, nor in our cooperative. I won't mention them here, but you can do reverse calculation to figure out which ones those are. Now, we do love our books. I'm a librarian. I'm proud of all our books. And we actually have a collection of over 2 million items, both print and electronic, with automatic renewals. And you can place a hold on almost any item and have it delivered to your closest location. This includes physical material, books, DVDs, and more. But we have a growing collection of electronic material that you can download to your phone, such as ebooks, streaming music, videos, audiobooks. So if you want to drop your Audible subscription, you can start using our service for free. And we have some special things such as Wi-Fi hotspots, our award-winning birding backpack program, and citizenship kits as well. Plus, if you were concerned that you had a fine years ago with us and you don't want to come because we might be mad at you, don't worry. We dropped overdue fines with the permission of the Board of County Commissioners back in October of 19. And we've remained that way ever since. The only people say, well, why do people return? And we say, well, if you don't return, you can't borrow anymore. That's usually the incentive for people to return their items. Now, we also provide research assistance. Now, you might think in the age of Google and AI, why would you talk to a librarian? Well, it's because we provide highly factual information. I like to say that my research librarians do not hallucinate when they provide you an answer, unlike AI services. In fact, we answered over 941,000 questions in FY25. And we have special tools that you can access that are verified information resources. They don't, unlike going online, you might find people providing you with non-factual information. We actually have subscriptions to things that are highly vetted sources. And we also have some specialist librarians. One I want to highlight today is our community research librarian. He can provide research assistance to any government entity. So if your town has some questions and you don't have the time to do the research on it, or you're concerned that AI is not giving you a good answer, you can reach out to us and we'll provide you with an information package turned around very quickly. As a former children's librarian, children's services are the heart and soul of public libraries, and we have a lot of facts about how much we're used by families. In fact, we had over almost 6,000 activities, 165,000 children attending them. And these range from story times to crafting to book clubs, gaming, and more. In fact, one of my favorite ones is the lower picture there. It's called ARF, Animal Reading Friends. Because when children are learning to read, they may get a little intimidated reading to an adult, but who would be shy reading to that lovely puppy over there? And don't forget the teens. If you want to get your teen out the door and off their smartphone, you can send them to us. We had over 700 teen activities, 12,000 teens in attendance. Now, we also reach out beyond our walls. In fact, our bookmobile pictured here is one of our main ways to do that. It makes 42 stops over a 2-week period across our service district. We also provide books by mail. So if a resident is unable to leave their home, whether permanently or temporarily, we can mail books to them. And for residents who are blind or visually impaired, we have Talking Books for the Blind, which will mail them a reader and basically a little digital cassette that they can put in where they can listen to books very easily. And we also have our adult literacy project that has volunteer tutors working with adults who want to learn how to read. We also partner with many entities in the community. For example, we are a founding member of the Literacy Coalition because we believe, certainly for democracy, it starts with literacy. And for a functioning society, we need that. Also, we have a partnership with the school district where we provide free summer lunches. You know, unfortunately, many children in Palm Beach County, their only reliable lunch during the year is at school. So what do they do in the summer? We provide them with free meals. And we're doing that June and July from 11:30 to 12:30 at every one of our locations. And many of our locations offer free weekend meal kits through a partnership with the food bank, where they can come in and no questions asked, take a bag of food home for the weekend to feed a family. We also collaborate with many of our cultural institutions. Our most popular one is the Norton Art Gallery with our Books Plus Art event. And since, as we know, this year's an election year, 12 of my sites are early voting locations. And almost all of my sites are general election day and primary election day voting locations as well. And finally, we're an educational pillar of our community. We have, for adults, we had over 4,700 activities, 69,000 adults in attendance. And we are one of the largest computer training organizations in Palm Beach County. We had over 4,000 students attend to learn things as simple as using a mouse, through Office products, through all the way up to audiovisual programs and software, and even teaching you how to use your smartphone. As well, our Writers Live brings national recognized authors down to Florida, typically in the winter. We don't know why they like the winter, but they do. And we have various cultural events coming up later in the year. Will be Hispanic Heritage Month, which is all a very popular activity. Now, this year, the Board of County Commissioners declared 2026 as the year to rediscover reading. Unfortunately, reading for pleasure has declined over the last 20 years, and there are health and wellness benefits for reading for pleasure. And these are verified through many medical and health studies. So we're encouraging all our residents, if it's been a while since you've picked up a book to read just for the sake of reading, please do so. So we have our Rediscover Reading campaign. And if you want to track your reading, you can use our free Beanstack application where you can track and you can actually challenge. So as I've gone around to visit all of our municipalities, and I'm over halfway through that tour, in the library district, I've been challenging their town and city commissions and councils to go ahead, all drop on Beanstack and challenge each other to see who can read the most during that time period. Now, your closest Palm Beach County Library Service location is actually our bookmobile. It makes a stop in Briny Breezes every other Monday from 1:45 to 2:45. And you can pick up new material there. And our staff do an excellent job of working with our residents to place items on hold that would match their reading interests. And our nearby physical locations actually are our Lantana Road branch and our West Boynton branch. But as I mentioned before, because you're part of our cooperative, your residents can have access to those municipal libraries. I'm also excited to share that we are going to be building a new library, which will be your closest location in the town of Hypoluxo. We expect to start construction middle of next year and open it by the following year. It'll be a small location at 3,300 square feet, but it will help to fill a service gap. And one of the things that I've been looking for as I've been director is to see how we can fill those service gaps within our library district. And with the town of Ocean Ridge, if the town is interested, we can have discussions about bringing the bookmobile here so your residents don't have to leave the community. We could have it certainly here at your town hall. And just be a matter of deciding what times and dates you'd want it to be here. That way your residents can get the latest materials and have full access. Of course, with their library card, they already have full access to anything within our collection that's electronic. We also love to come out to town events. So if there's a town event you're holding and you want to have the bookmobile on site, you can reach out through my office and we can check availability and have it available here for the residents. Now, there's a few upcoming items as well that I'd like to discuss. First, and they both have to do with the November ballot. One that I was just speaking to the mayor with prior to the meeting is, of course, the property tax amendment, which I'm sure you're all very familiar with and following. The voters of Florida, 60% of the voters have to approve it as its constitutional amendment. If it does pass, obviously we would see reductions across all municipal and county governments. In the case of the library district, we're looking at about a 25% reduction in our budget. And obviously that would impact our ability to do any capital work and could potentially impact our abilities to acquire our collection, to have our operating hours and other facets. So we're not really sure exactly what we're going to do yet. We're watching and trying to calculate that. But that's certainly there. We are in a better position than the county general fund departments, since the county's general fund has to fund the sheriff first, and he takes up over half of the general fund revenue. It does place the county general fund departments in a tighter squeeze than the library. But obviously, as I mentioned, will still affect us. The other piece that we were moving forward from the beginning of the year that the Board of County Commissioners has approved is there's going to be an item on the November ballot for the residents of the library district to vote for authorization for the county to go out for general obligation bonds to fund a new library expansion program. I mentioned in an earlier slide that our last time the voters approved a bond item was in 2002. So that's over 25 years ago. And during that time, of course, our buildings degrade due to the effects of environment and use. So it is time for us to do renovations of all of our locations. A general fund, so there's going to be a question that will authorize, if the voters approve it, and they would only need just over 50% to approve it as a bond item, to approve the county to get up to $175 million in bonds to cover basically a 15-year renovation program that would cover all of our locations and also include the construction of a new main library. Our current main library on Summit Boulevard is our oldest location. The core of the building was opened in '72, and it has passed its useful life. We would like to build a brand new, larger facility on there that would have resources that the community would use, such as a large civic center space, technology labs, more meeting room space, and outdoor activity space, and make it to be an architecturally significant building that would actually be a draw for everyone across the county. So those items are going to be on the November ballot. I'll mention that the county parks also will have a general obligation bond question on there that will be open to all residents since the Parks Department is part of the county's general revenue. A lot of things are happening, and obviously November will be a very significant month in terms of how the voters across Florida and our district decide. But certainly at this point, that concludes my presentation. And I hope to have further discussions with the town about how we can increase our presence within your community. But with that, I'll close out my speaking and I'll open up for any questions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you happen to have any information on how many residents of Ocean Ridge utilize the library system?
That is a very good question. I should have pulled that information before coming here, but I can certainly do so and I'll send it to your town manager.
Great, thanks.
Any other questions for Mr. Crane? Thank
Thank
you
you.
very, very much.
Yeah.
Very informative.
Oh,
Very
thank you very
appreciate
much.
that.
Have a wonderful rest of your meeting.
Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the presentation by Rhonda Geiger, the General Counsel of the Palm Beach County Commission on Ethics. Weren't you here a couple months ago too? I mean, I mean,
Buddy Rhonda Geiger with the Commission on Ethics. I do not have a PowerPoint. It's just me reminding you that we're here. Telling you, as I always do, that we're available to answer questions. We've seen a very, very nice shift to telephone calls from complaints. Our complaints are way down. But our telephone calls and our inquiries are way up. So that's definitely what we want to see. We really want to be proactive. I've been reminding people when I come to these meetings that, and this goes for everybody in the crowd too, just for a quick reference, before we're going to have a misuse of office, we're going to look for three things. The first is, does the action involve a prohibited entity? So a spouse, a family member, somebody with whom you have a substantial debt, debtor or creditor. So a prohibited entity. The second is there a financial benefit? And the third is, if there's a financial benefit, is it special? Meaning, does it benefit a small enough class? So we have to have all three of those things before it's likely we're going to have something that violates the code of ethics. So we do see actions sometimes up on the dais where somebody might vote on a street sign going on their daughter's or on their daughter's road, for example. And people think, well, they can't do that. They can't vote on something that involves their daughter. But there's no financial benefit, right, to a street sign necessarily. So there are times you can participate in something that involves a prohibited entity. That one, we're lacking the financial benefit. So just remember that, just run through that little thing in your head, those three steps. Do we have a prohibited entity? Is there a financial benefit? And if there's a financial benefit, is the class so small that we're going to consider it special, which would then make it a prohibited action? And that goes really with anything we do, all of us government employees through the course of our work with respect to our analysis. So quick little reminder there. As always, we're available for trainings. We are updating our online training. Everybody will be happy to hear that, I'm sure. That should be out within the next, it's not great, I know. That should be out within the next couple of months. So if anybody needs the training, and we'll have the new one out shortly. But in the meantime, I'm always happy to come do a live training if anybody needs it.
well, thank you.
Yeah.
Any questions? No?
No,
All right.
no,
Well, we're here if you need us.
well, thank you very much. Okay, moving on to our recognition of commendations for Sergeant Jimmy Pyle. And moving on, Chief, you want to take this over?
Yes, sir.
Really proud of all you guys. I think the whole entire town is. We
We
appreciate everything you do. We really do. And it's
Yeah.
kind of special for the town.
Yeah, they do a good
It
job.
really is.
So this is going back to May. Sergeant Pylon did it again. He recovered a stolen firearm, or it wasn't stolen, but I'll tell you the story here. He conducted a proactive traffic stop on a vehicle that had a defective headlamp. He made contact with the driver and he detected the odor of marijuana, which led him to request, a backup, and then after they denied possession of marijuana or a medical marijuana card, he developed probable cause in the search of the vehicle. During the search, Sergeant Pylon observed multiple boxes of ammunition in the rear. Seeing in further investigation revealed the presence of a loaded Glock 29, which is a 10 millimeter caliber. It's a very odd caliber semi-automatic pistol concealed under the front seat. Long story short, he seized that firearm. He advised him of his rights. The fire and ammunition was seized and submitted to the evidence for investigation and a crime laboratory testing to determine whether the firearm had been reported stolen or linked to prior criminal activity. Well, he found out that after testing, it revealed the firearm had been connected to 5 separate criminal investigations throughout South Florida, including shootings of shots fired in Lake Worth Beach, Boynton Beach, West Palm Beach, and the assault investigation in Miami Gardens. We do know that the shooting in Boynton Beach involved a young female that was shot in the head.
Ooh.
So we're gonna build these other departments for all these cases that you're solving in all these other towns. Your proactive policing, keen investigation instincts are in commitment to the officer and public safety directly result in the recovery of a firearm and tied to multiple violent crimes across several jurisdictions. Your actions demonstrate exceptional professionalism, sound judgment, and your dedication to proactive policing is much appreciated. And we thank you. Get up. I will tell you another story. You can help ad lib. What, a week ago? 2 weeks ago, you stopped a car and it had 3 occupants in it, and you, through a discovery, you found out that they had surgical gloves, ski mask, hoodies, and then a stolen tag was on the car that the victim didn't even know was stolen yet, out of Delray. So that was very proactive policing in the middle of the night and preventing crime that was, coming to our town. What, you found out some other information about some of the occupants, right?
Just federally released from prison.
Right.
They're out shop.
Yeah, so good work.
Wow.
Before they could get in.
Great work.
Yeah.
Well, come on, a bunch, come on up. And we got a picture of the whole, whole team. Look at that.
Yeah.
Come on, Jimmy, come on up. Yeah. Need a better picture of you.
Well, we gotta have them in the middle.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're gonna end up with a picture with like 20 people in it. Everybody else. Oh, you gotta get on the.
Bounce.
Jeez, making us all look like.
I should get on the end.
You have a certificate?
We have the award.
I got a bit.
No, you gotta be like.
Oh, is that him?
I know. Great.
Good job, good job.
I guess we're gonna do that for everybody, just so you know. So. Jimmy doesn't get up to special treatment, you guys.
Next, we have a recognition for officers Mario Galuccio and William Ranta. If you guys want to stand so they know who you are. So this is going back a couple months. On April 29th, these 2 officers, you can sit down now if you want. They were dispatched to report of an unresponsive elderly male resident. Upon arrival, you assessed the situation and determined that he was in cardiac arrest, had no pulse present. Recognizing the life-threatening nature, you guys activated, without hesitation, you activated the AED and advised to give it a shock, and you restored the heart rhythm of this elderly male. Following the defibrillation, the officers continued care until the arrival of Boynton Beach Fire Rescue, who assumed advanced medical treatment. He was transported to the hospital. Boynton Fire Rescue personnel advised that you guys' immediate actions taken by were critical to the successful resuscitation of the patient. Your rapid response, accurate assessment, and proper deployment of the AD directly resulted in the restoration of pulse and the preservation of life. Your actions demonstrate the exceptional professionalism, composure, and dedication to the duty under extreme pressure. Your performance reflects the great credit upon us at the Ocean Ridge Police Department and exemplifies the highest standards of public service and commitment in the preservation of life. So congratulations, guys. I do have 2 life things,
Get another picture, come on up. Mario, how long you been at police for?
Over 20 years.
Over 20 years, everybody. Mario's been on there. Most people don't know because he's always at nights. And he switched the days and he got a tan. Yeah, I got a tan. I'll send you that.
Thank
Thank you. I'm
And since your families are here, if you want to bring your families into the front area, guaranteed family.
Yeah, that's good. I think. Appreciate it. Great. Well, keep coming, stay You're staying on for longer, right?
Yeah, I'm staying on a little long.
He's got
Very
it.
good.
Outside those rich yacht, mailing people.
Yeah.
We're here.
Yeah.
Get them all together.
Where are we doing this?
Oh, Jimmy.
Right over here where there's a gap.
Should we get Jimmy in the big pic? Is his family here?
Very good. Thank you. Mario?
Your wife's come up?
Thank you. Yeah, okay.
Your wife's come up.
He's like, don't do this to me.
Mhm.
Good. Just with all of them. You know, you move over a little bit, so you get the whole permission. This way, move over, right there, right there. Getting all my commissioners. Very good. And 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. Thank you, congratulations. Yes, very good.
Last but not least, chief,
Lastly, we have Officer Matthew Powers. You wanna stand up?
he's one of our newest officers, is he? Huh?
He has. He's been here just a little over a year, but he comes with some experience from other places. So you can sit down if you want. I tell you, over the course of the months, the enforcement that these guys do are night shift and the traffic stops. Well, we submitted Officer Powers' enforcement activities to the Palm Beach County Traffic Safety Awards Committee, and they selected him. He won the award for enforcement. So over the past year, Officer Powers has demonstrated exceptional productivity. He, within our 2 square mile, he has conducted, this is going back a couple months, so I know it's increased, 1,128 traffic stops. He issued 829 citations, 655 written warnings, and made 17 arrests for traffic-related offenses. So his proactive approach of enforcement is enhanced, by the use of technology, our LPR system, and his keen observation. That presence and what he's doing is obviously, stopping crime. I mean, our crime has pretty much gone down to nil. So it's because of, those traffic stops that, I read every month, and this is one of the guys that's really responsible for it. I just, your activity, it speaks for itself, and your attention to detail and committed proactive policing have made a noticeable impact on the traffic safety and overall crime in our town. And I highly recommend, you win this award, and you did, and I have this award to present to you. So great job. Yeah. He couldn't attend the meeting, so I'm giving him an award. No, I couldn't attend it either because of other prior commitments we had here at the police station. So great job. Get a picture.
Oh, we gotta get a picture up here too. Getting down to the science now. I'll just chair.
You need a photo edit.
On the award for the exceptional productivity and dedication to the traffic safety of the town of Ocean Ridge Police Department.
Wow. Thank you so much.
You want to hold it?
Thank you. Yeah, hold it.
One more. And if I can have you stay there and have everybody come back up, we'll start with your bubble.
So here's what I would like to ask. Keep the portion ups. You're in the foreground and keep the commission.
Okay, sure.
The picture is gonna have to be.
Don't you have one of those panoramic?
Yeah. And anybody who's in this family. Hey. Can you?
If I could go.
Yeah.
Or front or whatever.
Sit on you.
You better be down here because we're gonna. She's only, she'd have to stand in between.
She's tall.
Oh, I'm on she's helping. Where's she gonna stay?
Good point.
So, that's his, come on. Oh, and Dan's got to get in there. Need a wider one. Oh. I'm sure you all indulge in me here, so go away. All right, right here, right here. With the- Oh, wait, the dog's not, wait.
Thank you all very
Thank
much.
you, everybody.
Which that's pretty amazing number of traffic stops.
Yeah, June, yes.
It's amazing. Have you been stopped?
I have.
No? You have?
Sure.
Running the red light at.
Yeah, he's just running red lights.
No, it's like stops and anything.
I'm the golf cart. I buzz right through them.
I don't think it's buzzed.
But I look.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you again.
Yeah.
All right, Kelly. On to the announcements.
The meeting schedule for the next month is as follows. The Town Commission Budget Workshop meeting will be August 3rd at 2 p.m. The regular Town Commission meeting will be Monday, August 3rd at 6 p.m. Yeah. All right. The code enforcement hearing will be Tuesday, August 4th at 10 a.m. The Planning and Zoning Commission meeting will be Tuesday, July 21st at 9 a.m. And all meetings are held in the commission chambers at Town Hall. Any residents who wish to sign up to receive important town notifications and news through either TextMyGov and or Civic Ready should sign up on the town's website or call Town Hall for assistance.
Are we phasing out Civic Ready into TextGov?
Not really. We're using it more. TextMyGov is going to be more for your newsletters, your any events that are going on, stuff like that. Civic Ready is going to be used strictly for emergencies, hurricanes, flooding, stuff like that.
Okay.
Commissioner Cassidy.
Yes, I'm very pleased to announce that we did receive the state appropriation for our water main replacement project. So $300,000. And I was on the edge of my seat the day that the governor was going through that budget and he did veto it. So
act like 800 million.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. So we have, I'm going to prepare letters for all of us to sign to thank Senator Berman and Representative Ann Gerwig from Wellington, because they really went to bat for us. And our lobbyists were outstanding. They were constantly communicating. They had some good meetings in the governor's office, obviously. And
Great.
Yeah.
Should we send a letter to the Sands?
sure.
Yeah. why not?
Yeah.
All right. You handle that, Michelle? Public comment. Terry?
Say, Terry Brown, Harvard Drive South. It's a great presentation, and I do this more often. The library review was great. I grew up here, and the library system was fantastic, particularly the Lake Worth Library. Any of those who have never been to the Lake Worth Library, was built during the Depression at Carnegie Library. It's a fantastic building. They have jazz festivals in the back, on the back room. So it is a great system. I'm not going to do any complaint about the sea grapes, because I think enough people know what happened. And yeah, your answer was to try to put signs there so the bozos who are trimming the hedges know where to stop. But the other thing I wanted to bring back again was the issue of whether or not you could put in additional sea grapes. There's plenty of room. There's plenty of spots there. Now, the issue came up that there's no water there. But at the Garden Club site down the road on Old Ocean, the Garden Club members, including Lucy and I, and my great friend Sue, who has a pickup truck, watered some of them by hand with a 5-gallon bucket. So we can get water there if you decide to do that. I will guarantee water there. My wife won't pick up the bucket, but I have a couple of maintenance people that work for me that will do it. And Sue, I'm sure will help, and we'll find some other volunteers to water it until they're established. Once they're established, you don't have to do anything to them, as you know, sea grapes grow all the way along.
Talking Border Street water.
Yeah,
How many do you need?
I think just two. There's two good spots that are easy to get to. They're right near the rail. Take very little clearing out. And they have to be A1 quality product. Though. I mean, you have to find them from a good nursery and get them installed, and we'll put the water in.
Well, why don't we have Portofino
I
provide a
was
hose?
gonna say
Yes,
that.
I agree.
They should
Part
give
of the
access,
fine.
right?
Yeah, community service.
Yeah, I mean, they should pay for it,
Right.
in my opinion, but I don't want to push it. I just want it to get done.
Yeah, but even if they won't pay for the trees, they should provide a hose, so you don't have to carry around. 5 buckets.
Exactly. Yeah.
Christie?
There is actually a provision in the code that if you remove a tree without a permit, that you can replace them in order to avoid a fine. So we can always make that
Oh.
provision available to
All
them
right.
And
to
if they
pursue
provide
that.
the hose, they don't get the fine. Perfect.
But have we find them?
Yes. So, Mr. Mayor, they have been before the special magistrate once, as you are aware. What we brought them to the special magistrate as an individual, the president of that HOA. While in that court session, the HOA made themselves available as well. So they were there and they were informed of everything that was going on and a party to the outcome. So I was surprised to see that it happened again. The HOA will be brought next as the organization to the special magistrate. And just so you know, Mr. Brown, we did take your recommendations. And so we've already started working with different landscape firms to fill in the area properly, but also potentially add silver buttonwoods.
That'd
Because
be
you had
great.
said, maybe something
Fantastic.
different. And now, given what's recently happened, I think we will speak with them about placing either the silver buttonwoods or something different between, almost on the line of our property line, so that we can differentiate where that line begins and ends a little more easily.
Yeah.
And just, an additional FYI, staff that was here and working on those days actually spoke with the contractor prior to the work beginning and made sure they reviewed the map as to where the work should end. And two of our staff members had separate discussions with the contractor and were assured that they knew exactly where to end and that they had been through this before and spoke with the police before. And obviously DEP was a part of that conversation as well. And so the fact that the same contractor did that work anyway is disturbing to me. And as I said to Commissioner Cassidy, if there was a way for me to say to that contractor, you're registered here at the town to work no longer, I would like to do that. I don't know that I could actually pull that off, but that's how upset your staff was when they found out that it happened.
And, there should be more higher sea grapes in the code, 6 feet. The area that's done it right is at 152 property. They have some that are 6 feet and some that are the regular 3 feet. So it can be done. So we should really encourage them to do that. They all want the perfect view though from their condo. But you're not guaranteed a view in this life, right? So and that pathway was like a natural area pathway is what the thing was. And people will appreciate it. I won't be the only one. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry.
And Mr. Mayor, the funding will come from some of the fines that we received for that specific area. Then also we can utilize other fines that we've received along the same lines to pay for that. We also anticipated waiting until the rating season started so that we could take advantage of the fact that it's going to rain every day at 3:00. And we will appropriately schedule a water truck. I never anticipated somebody going with buckets of water. So we'll have a water truck actually
You have no.
go out there and use the same fines. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks, Terry. Next public comment?
I hear a lot of rumbling around town about the density of people on the other side of the waterway and what provisions are we taking to keep them from abusing our properties? And that means the dunes, which they're already invading. They're walking in the dunes. I believe the federal government had the final instruction in the dunes. And I think we ought to post our fines. They ought to be big and just bring a few people in when they go up on somebody's deck and decide to sit in their lawn chair, which they know is trespassing. Because if you stop it early on, it will not snowball as the year goes.
I'm sure we'll get the police department on that too. Thank you, Betty. Anyone else? Okay.
I
Public
do have
comment
a-
closed.
I do have a letter that was.
Do you have a letter?
Okay. Good evening, Chief and Commissioners. I am writing to express my sincere appreciation to you and the entire Ocean Ridge Police Department for the outstanding Dark House initiative. As a resident, it is incredibly reassuring to know that while many of us are away during summer months, your officers are taking time to check on our homes. This thoughtful program provides tremendous sense of security and peace of mind that is truly invaluable. Your willingness to go above and beyond your regular duties does not go unnoticed. It is deeply appreciated. Mrs. Kolb.
Thank you. All right, public comments closed. Moving back to the commission. All right, moving on to the approval of the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the consent agenda as written.
A second?
Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. All right, public hearing for fiscal year 2027 budget. Michelle?
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners, thank you for your work so far on the budget and for anticipation of this day, which is selecting the maximum millage rate. I will look for Kelly to put the PowerPoint presentation on the screen, and we will walk through this pretty quick. So as you know, you've been meeting together on workshops since May, maybe even April at this point. And right now it's time to talk millage rate. So why is this important? Florida statutes reminds us it is important. And this is not the final rate that we'll be discussing tonight. That's important to remember, but it is the highest rate that can be considered during public hearings. A rate above this cannot be adopted later. So as you know, what that means is tonight you're taking into consideration what your tolerance level is for a maximum millage rate. Later, while we're finalizing and going through the budget, as we make final recommendations and you make final decisions, you can go lower, but you will not be able to go higher than anything you select tonight. So tonight I'll be asking for two things. The objectives will be one, to approve a maximum millage rate for the next fiscal year and to select the date for the first public hearing for the tentative budget. This, as you know, understanding the process, the property appraiser is the lead here. We typically get certification to us by mid-July. It is already here, so we are ahead of the game there. Trim notices get mailed out to our residents mid-August, and the public hearings, both the tentative and the final, happen in September. But first, the budget in brief. As you have seen in your workshops, we are looking at property tax revenue anticipated at about $10 million. The total requested budget, $21 million. Remember, that's not that we're taking in $21 million. It is not that we are spending $21 million. That is the aggregate of what we are taking in as revenue and what we are spending collectively. Cost to operate, which I know Commissioner Ayla, I'm so sorry. Ayla every year wants to know what it costs to keep the lights on, and that is $11 million at this point. Operating millage rate is 5.4 is what we've made the budget with in anticipation of keeping it the same. So right now, over 3/4 of what we anticipate for revenue is from property taxes. And as you can see, we've got some of the breakdowns, very small along the way. Go ahead to the next slide to see it differently and maybe a little easier from the audience to see it this way. Property taxes come in at about 77% right now for the next fiscal year. And our permit process for the building department is the next one. And where your dollars go, personnel costs, just under $4 million, contractual services, so it's your engineering department, it's utility contracts and employee benefits. Operating supplies are for the entire organization, and the debt service is very limited because we'll be paying that one off again. All right, so we talk about the money coming in and 77% of the revenue coming from our property taxes. As we all know, that there's some ambiguity in what this next year is going to look like and potentially the next years after that. So at a glance, I wanted to provide you with the document that you have had access to, and that shows the total number of parcels and the number of parcels that are impacted by the potential exemption based on the potential November ballot language. And as you can see, we have two property pieces that will be assessed currently less than $50,000. Homesteaded properties assessed value less than $150,000. We have 69 of those. And in the other category where it would be homesteaded properties assessed value less than or equal to 250,000, we've jumped to 123. That number.
Where are those two properties that are less than 50 grand?
I don't know, but we probably could find that out pretty easily.
Yeah, it's weird.
So what's the total, real quick, the total of those properties, the 50, 150 and a 250? How many properties is that?
It's on to us.
Total number of
190
properties
So two, they got
That are under-
200
that are under-
194.
Yeah. It's just under two.
and we have a total
that
of,
are impacted for.
no, the total, the three that are impacted. So we got 200 properties minus the 670?
Yeah, which is basically 44% that are homesteaded. The other part that's going to impact us even longer term is the portion where they're going to put potentially a cap on non-homesteaded properties. And so that cap will move from it being 10% down to 5%. The property appraiser's office has given us this anticipation for the impacts on year one in 2026. All right, so the other parts that are important to know is what is the rollback rate. So for those that may not be familiar with that phrase, it basically is what is the millage rate that would be equivalent for us to bring in the same amount of proceeds that we brought in the previous year. So our rollback rate is 5.0881, and that would generate the same proceeds that we had last year, which is just over that $9 million. So as you can see, that comes in at just over 6% higher. With the 5.4 millage rate comes in 6% higher than the rollback rate. And that matters because that percentage is what gauges the total number of votes that we need in order to pass the budget. So with a 5.4 millage rate, if the commission wanted to move in that direction, we would need 3/4 of a vote of the board. So that would be 4 out of 5 at minimum would have to vote for that maximum millage rate. And that counts even with the vacancy. Quick historical data view. As you can see, we've had 5.4 in play since 2023. You brought it down from 5.5 at that time. So for tonight, the suggested language for motions, we'll take two different motions, but the first one would be a motion to approve a maximum operating millage rate for fiscal year 2027 to be included on the trim notice. And then after you're done with that decision, the second motion would be to approve the first public hearing for the budget. And right now we have it scheduled for September 14th. The state outlines the dates that we can have these hearings, and the dates that are available are from the beginning of September through September 18th for your first and tentative budget hearing. And then September 19th through the 30th for your second, your final. Those are the spaces that we can have these sessions.
But on both those, you need 4. Excuse me.
So basically unanimous.
Yeah, since we have one vacancy at this time,
So it's not 3 out of 4, it's 4.
correct.
4 out of 5.
It's 4 out of 5. The state still sees the vacancy as a vote. even though there won't be a vote there, it sees it as a potential vote.
Okay.
And that's my presentation for tonight.
It was good.
Short and sweet.
Public comment. Okay. Is there a motion on the first motion, approve the maximum operating millage rate of mills for fiscal 2027, including the trip notice?
And as a reminder, we've made the budget with the 5.4 mils existing.
I move that the commission approve a maximum operating millage rate of 5.4 mils for fiscal year 27 to be included in the trip notices required by Florida statutes.
I second.
All those in favor,
No,
signify
no,
by.
I want to discuss.
Go ahead.
Every year I go through this and I get outvoted. However, what else is coming out of Tallahassee between now and September that will affect our budget? We don't know, right?
Correct, sir. Vice Mayor, I don't have a crystal ball, but my understanding is at this point in time, the governor has signed all documents that relate to putting things into law. So I don't anticipate anything different happening between now and then.
But do we know the end result of these things that are in motion?
We do
What
not.
I'm getting at is, like, you guys probably vote against it, but I'll join you to make the four. But I don't see why we're keeping it at 5.4 now, when we have till September, which gives us what, July, August, September, to see how this filters down to municipalities.
It looks like, I mean, based on the work we've done and the most recent information we got from the tax authorities, I think, Michelle, we were meeting on it earlier today. I think it looks like the 2027 $150,000 cap, raising of the cap would be about a $300,000 increase. Michelle, am I about right on that? And then it's
Yeah.
600 for 2028, which is in the total scheme of things, a relatively
How much revenue is it?
digestible. That's 300,000 on 11 million. Budget is less than 3%. So I'm pretty comfortable that that's kind of the worst case.
See,
scenario. That sounds-
right, and I'm pretty comfortable in that too, but we don't need to do, that's my point. In other words, we could say, let's do it at 5.5, 5.6, knowing that we're not gonna hold that, but we do the final unless something occurs that was unforeseen and filters down to Ocean Ridge.
Are you afraid that something's going to happen over the summer and it's going to be even more onerous and harder on
I
municipalities?
think that's what we're saying.
I think,
Partner on municipalities.
I think if anything, it would go the other way. When now that, because the budget's now passed and people can speak more freely about.
So they might vote it down, and in which case then nothing.
Right, then nothing, I understand
Right.
that part. But I still don't think that we fully understand how this is gonna filter down to the municipalities, particularly the small ones like us. That's my problem. So I say, why take the risk? And it doesn't affect the tax base. Ultimately, we vote 5.4, but what if something unforeseen happens over the next 2 months?
Well, if the vote's not until November, so we'd have to have the final amount in September.
Right.
So even if we said it was, 6, we'd still in September be at 5.4 if everybody's thinking the same.
We're not going to have
But
certainty.
by November
Yeah.
is when the vote is, so if the vote actually happens and it creates them, we're gonna be past.
Right, what I'm saying is we have too much more of watching how this sorts itself out, that we can take advantage in case we need to. That's my, but if you guys don't want to do it, that's fine.
As a reminder, 2 years ago, you did the same, you had that path. You chose your maximum millage rate to be at 6 mils with the understanding that you didn't anticipate that, but you were concerned about hurricane season. And then when it came time for the final, you brought it down to the 5.4.
Exactly.
And the last year I made that recommendation that staff felt like you had enough in reserves that if we had an issue with hurricane, that we would be okay. And I didn't think it was worth banging your head against the wall. And with a 6 mil and potentially having full, chamber or with people who are concerned about it being 6 mils when you never had any anticipation.
I'm talking 5, 6, 5, 7.
Yes,
But I do this each year and whatever, I guess I've won.
you have.
Planning.
You have.
In 1 year, yeah.
You have. Yes.
I think there's value in us sending a clear signal to the residents that we intend to work
Yeah,
hard
political.
to make sure that they're not political value, true intent that we want to make this, a community that's as affordable as possible for our residents. So I like the 5.4.
Let's not forget, taxes are still going up.
I get
Millage
it.
rate staying the same.
So are our costs.
Oh, I know.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Now your discussion. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, so the next motion is to approve the September date, which is the 14th.
Yes, sir.
2026 is the date for the town's first public hearing. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion and second. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And as a reminder, we will need 4 people minimum in order to get the 5.4 passed. If only 3 are on the dais and able to vote on that day, we will go to the rollback rate.
We hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Make it-
So the rollback rate, and we can never go above it? We don't have 4 people?
The state does not allow it.
Yeah.
The
We have
state,
to go to 5.
Well, let's take a little more time with these dates. When is that date?
Monday, the 14th.
Okay, they check their calendars.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's why I said yes.
Thank you for making it look like an anything.
well, when you and I checked your calendar in the past, you had a clear calendar, Vice Mayor, but check it again.
Okay.
You
Okay,
good?
The reason that that's important is because that's going to get published and mailed out to everyone that date. So it won't be able to change it after you agree to vote on it.
But there's
So we
also,
end this
there's
meeting.
also the other reason too. You can only have it to a certain point. You can't have it any farther after it's
Correct. Right, you can only
Right.
have it up until the 18th.
up to the 18th. Okay. So moving on to the regular agenda items. Direction on revisions to town's regulations on auxiliary uses, buildings and structures. Chris,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There was an issue that came up in terms of having staff look at the town's regulations on accessory uses and structures within the town. The initial request was to have planning and zoning look at the town's current ordinance, section 6441 on accessory buildings, to see if they wanted to perhaps relax those, if someone wanted to put a pergola or gazebo in their yard. P and Z responded that they didn't feel any changes needed to be made. Had some questions about, is there an issue or something like that? From what I understand about it, currently for accessory structures like a gazebo or a pergola, you have to comply with the current property setback requirements. So what that means is for most single family dwellings, that is the sides are 15-foot setback. The rear is a 15-foot setback. Unless you're on the waterway, then it's a 25-foot setback. So the way the code currently reads is if you wanted to install a pergola or a gazebo, you would have to comply with those setbacks. So P and Z recommended not doing anything unless they knew of a specific problem or issue that was going on with this. So we brought it back to the commission to say that's what their recommendation is, not to do anything. In the past, we've had at least one property owner go to the Board of Adjustment to ask for a variance from the setback so that a pergola could be installed in the backyard. The property owner was along a waterway, so there was really no room to put the pergola and comply with the 25-foot setback. So
yeah, the,
It's very
it-
complicated.
it went through several variations. Eventually, it was not installed.
But it was,
At one point it was approved, but then it went through some variations and then ultimately not taken advantage of.
well, the problem I see is that we were sent it to the planning and zoning to look into it. And I know that they said, well, we don't see any problems with it. Well, the problem is that people in Ocean Ridge are spending a lot of money to build these homes, put these homes in, especially on the water. They have a 25-foot setback. They're building their house right to the setback. So how do you enjoy your backyard any more than your house can go to? There's no other way. So why, I don't understand why they didn't look into a pergola, I don't know, a gazebo, or just something that's open air. And basically within the setbacks, in the sense of like the pool's a 5-foot setback, deck's a 5-foot setback. And I hear the excuse of, well, you don't want to put that up there because it's going to block my view. Well, let's remember the town's caveat on hedges. So I can have a hedge from the front of my house, it's 20 foot high, all the way to the back of my house, to the water is 20 foot high. Now, like, that's going to block anybody's view no matter what. By the way, if you want to view, your view's out the back of your property.
I think by code, it's only 6 feet.
By a hedge.
Yeah. Betty?
Do you, Bliss Way?
We don't have a,
You don't have a-
because we ran into that issue
ran
and
into
there's
the
no
issue.
height limitation on your side.
If you read the code, which I've
I
read,
went through this.
I can't tell you how many times.
The
I've read the
V
code.
My
Or-
redwoods up.
And the hedge, the word hedge is not in the code where it says about and the distance.
The intent is.
So anyway, the point is here is that I'm just wondering why the planning and zoning can't, look into it a little deeper and say, hey, look, these are auxiliary structures. I mean, you don't want something that's going to take over the whole backyard. Why not do something that's in the 8-foot wide, 20-foot long, or 10-foot high within those particular setbacks? To allow somebody to say, okay, rather than have 3 umbrellas outside, I gotta hang under, why can't I hang or do something underneath this pergola or this gazebo that is open on all 4 sides? It's not a living structure. So. this
I
kind
think
of-
we'd have to be very careful with the language though, because a pergola and a gazebo are 2 very different structures.
Right.
And a gazebo has a full roof, and that feels more like an outdoor room. Whereas a pergola is open at the top.
Well, see,
Think
that's
like
the whole
walls.
point. That was the whole point of saying it to planning and zoning in the first place.
Yeah, for
To
them
have
to
that
come up with some
discussion.
ideas like that.
Yeah.
It seems like we're being unduly restrictive right now, that things that would not bother anybody, you're prohibiting residents from
If
implementing.
my neighbor put in pergola above the hedge and above the fence, whatever's there, less than 10 feet from my property, I'd be upset. I think maybe we should look at the ones on the canals. I don't live on a canal.
That's fine.
So I don't know if you're looking down a canal towards the intercoastal, would that upset people on the canal? I don't know.
Oh, would it upset, how does a hedge that's blocking the view upset? Or why not, if you're gonna think this through, why not say, okay, so if you're gonna put this pergola up 5 foot off the setback, 5 foot off the setback, then you have to put a hedge that's as high as the pergola.
So they can't
So
be
now you-
pergola.
You
'cause hedge
screen
blocks.
the head, you screen the pergola with a hedge, so. But it's this discussion, and we're having this discussion, right? And we have.
The idea was for planning and zoning to have. this
Planning and
discussion.
zoning that's supposed to have.
Crispy,
So-
how does the whole ADU language now, like, how do we consider that? Like, if someone was gonna put accessory dwelling unit in their backyard, then would they still be allowed to do a gazebo as well, or a pergola as well? Or does this count?
We don't allow for it, so, it can't be a separate dwelling unit. So, this would be to allow an accessory structure that would not be used as a primary dwelling unit. So you just have to, again, be careful with language.
Could
But
you
it's
have
the-
a gazebo then and a shed?
Well, now your shed's a whole different, if you read the shed rule actually does encroach into the setback, side setback. So that's what it says in the code right now. So
I don't
it's
think
a whole different thing.
I don't think the idea was for us to try to work it out at this stage. I thought we said, let's have planning and zoning give it a thoughtful treatment. And I can't tell if they just said, I like it the way it is, or if they dug into it. I just don't know.
I gave them a list
Did they understand our
a
intent?
year ago.
Yeah.
Right? And on the list was this pergola, sure. And it's been now brought back to us, given direction. So I guess if you watch this video of this, I think the direction is pretty clear. To go back, look at it and say, hey, maybe there is a way we can make this happen without it being too egregious.
Yeah,
Where you're not building this
that
huge.
would be unlikely to make any other residents uncomfortable, but give people a little more flexibility on how they can use
So you guys don't want to give them instructions that if it's not on water, it has to attend. If you remember how this started like 5 years ago, somebody wanted to put up a pergola, not you guys on Harvard. And the whole thing came up like, well, what happens when no one's looking? They close it, make it to a riddle. Remember that? Yeah, that's how this all started.
But that's a whole.
No, we don't have
hear
to worry
that same
about that.
argument when they talked about, the second floor balconies. And people close them. It's the same argument. You can't, the only way you can do that is through code.
Right. You can't permit against future bad behavior.
Right.
So anyway, I'm not a fan of going less than 10, but if you want to send the whole package back to them, I think the area that I would concentrate on is canals.
Absolutely.
Christie's taking it feverishly over there.
But if you guys think it could be less than 10 on landlocked properties, then speak up now.
What
Could be less than 10. What do you
I think we should to tell the Planning and Zoning Commission that what we meant was for them to come back with some ideas on how they could make it less restrictive, not just say it's okay the way it is. And until they present something, I don't know how I feel.
We don't want to give them any hints because they obviously need it.
Well, I think the hint is that, look, I think you should look into everything, and kitchens, whatever. I mean, you should really take a different view of how, especially like you were saying on the canal. How can I utilize my property to the fullest value that I want to live in my property? Without, yes. making
Without
the neighbors-
encroaching on other people's happiness,
Right.
you know.
So how do I do that? How do I create that? Right now, we made it I thought a little too restrictive on the tech going 5 feet off the property. I don't know when that happened, but if you leave those setbacks, your pool setbacks 5 feet from the rear property. Deck setbacks 5 feet from the side property line. You only put it in the rear, it can't be in the sides. You put something where it's 5 feet off, 5 feet off. You make it a certain size, you make it, like you said, if you don't want it enclosed, you make it so it cannot be enclosed. Those rules, you incorporate those rules so you can actually create something that, put it this way, you can't go outside your afternoon at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and sit outside if your house is facing the south
Or west.
or west. I mean, it's just brutal. There's no shade unless you put an umbrella. And then when the thunderstorm comes by and you forgot to put it down, there it goes, blows off in the intercoastal, and there's another
So
umbrella that your wife's making. But
Is there codes on putting the sails up? The sails?
yeah, what's his name did that? One of the neighbors on south, he put sails.
Yeah.
But then again, so that's to me, the direction of the planning zone is like, look at these backyards. See what you can do to create and some ideas of how people can utilize their backyard a little better and to relax some of these rules that are just so restrictive again. So.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to remind the commission that which I know you know this, but they're an advisory board, like any board, and it may be frustrating to them to receive it back and forth over and over again, when they've clearly said that there was nothing more they wanted to add to it. And so at the end of the day, you all make those final decisions. Some of you have sat on that P and Z board before. So if you have your own ideas and you want to come to your own conclusions, you don't have to feel like you must send it back to them again. You can think about it a little longer, put it on a future agenda, a workshop if you prefer, so you can speak about it a little bit longer, or you can send it back to them. But I just want to remind you, they're an advisory board and they serve at your pleasure.
But that's why we have them. I mean, if we wanted to sit here and work that, I mean, we'd be perfectly capable of working it. We've got them to do it. Why would we take that out of there? I mean, I think we just need to send it back to them and say,
I think we
you got it wrong.
Well, yeah, but I think we should send it back with some instruction.
I think Chris has got all the instructions, but I do think sending it back, I agree, we could actually do it right now. But the point is, we may be missing some.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to have any
And I don't
unintended
want to
consequences.
have it, we should have done it, so we should have, they can discuss that for an hour or 2 hours. I don't have 2 hours to discuss further.
Right.
So everybody can have the same consensus. Set it
Yeah, I
back.
think so.
Well, edit back.
Let's move on then to the approval of ordinance. Oh, you got public comment? Well, it's not a vote, but if you want to have public comment, come on up.
I think this is a wonderful discussion and we've all been on both sides of this. I would like to eventually figure out what is the threshold of resident input that actually drives stuff like this. Is it one person? Is it 4 people? Is it 50 people? That's another discussion for another day, because you've taken a lot of time. P and Z has kind of thought about it on different occasions. You had talked about the law of unintended consequences and the precedent it sets. So if you do it in the back, are you eventually going to have to do it in the side? I'd like to see very clear definition of what is this ancillary structure? Is it only a gazebo? Is it only a pergola? Is it covered? Is it not covered? All that other stuff. Size, you brought that up, Jeff. I think that's excellent. You know, somebody could have a pergola that runs their entire span of their property. I will tell you, I'm on a landlocked and there's very little real estate in my backyard and my neighbor's backyard. So if we both did something, we'd be like nose to nose. So I like the idea, Steve, of maybe looking at it and having different rules for things that are on the water and things that aren't on the water. Absolutely. Taste is in the eye of the beholder, but I think this kind of goes back to what are the materials that can be used? I mean, you don't want something garish right on your property line at me looking at something like that, but that's a difficult thing to do. But that might be one of the other considerations, is what materials could be used, size, location. Talked about how many people complain. There's an old adage that hedges make good neighbors. And there's a reason we have setbacks, and a lot of it has to do with privacy. And we've had problems in the past where we've had issues with people having hedges too high, hedges too close. We've had feuds for generations here in Ocean Ridge about that. That's how we got our shed ordinance. So I just say that there's a lot more moving parts, and maybe planning and zoning should flush this out a little bit further. So, my 2 cents.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joe?
Joe Belmonte, 5600 North Ocean. We've had this discussion, I think, since Ken Khalil was commissioner. The difference between a hedge and a tree is that 6-foot level, I think. And if you think about between the yacht club and Crown Colony, is that a hedge or are those trees? And so back over here, we have to think about, okay, is that a hedge between us? Where does it stop? And we never did come up with an answer, because it's how do you define a tree? And then you have to go through all that. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up again, that we didn't forget about. It's the difference between a hedge and a tree.
Thanks, Joe. See, I didn't go first. Terry Brown, Harbor Drive South. There's lots of things that you might want to consider. And I think the number one thing, no one lobbies me, but people do talk to me about that. We don't live on the water. We live on the dry side. But the biggest issue that I hear is the having to look at it. I know the harsh view is that no one's guaranteed a view. If you've got something in your way, they build a condo bigger than the one next to you, too bad. That's the way life is. So that's the number one issue, is will it obstruct the view going down the river? And probably it would be something they'd have to look at. And people would be also concerned, are we creeping towards something that would affect property values in Ocean Ridge? Would everybody along the intercoastal have these things? And would that be a negative on the character of the town? I don't know how to answer that or how you would answer it. But that's the number one thing that I hear, is whether or not it would affect the view of your neighbor or your neighbor down the street. As far as the dry side, I don't know how it would affect anybody on the dry side of the street. It's really the canals that are the problem. On the other side, they are advertising these things all over. And they've got to meet the Florida Building Code to be anchored properly to the structure and to the ground or whatever they have to do. So that has to be met. But the reason why they're so popular is because what you pointed out, that the weather is getting brutaler and brutaler. It's not going to get any better. We keep burning fossil fuels. This is a sun dome that we're under right now, and it's not going away. So if you want to sit outside and have a cocktail and a cigar, you can't do it. So that's the reason why they're so popular. And they flap open and close, like you said, the mechanism. So they're getting popular. So, you know, there's two views. I don't know if I get strangled on the way home, but those are my comments.
Thank you, Terry. Anybody else? And by the way, Joe, I got to give Betty she's the one who came up with the hedge and tree difference. And that was like 25 years ago.
People are going to be pushing the limits all the time. And pretty soon they're going to block their neighbors and everybody else from views and the wind. And the reason we have setbacks is so that people have to go out and run and play without having that had their view completely blocked. I just think you should.
Thank you, Betty. Anybody else? All right. Moving on to the next item on the agenda. Kelly?
This is for ordinance number 2026-03. An ordinance of the Town Commission of the Town of Ocean Ridge, Florida, amending Chapter 67, Building and Building Regulations, Article 7, Building Standards, Division 3, Occupancy Limitations, Section 67-206, Reasonable Accommodation Procedures to include certified recovery residences to comply with Section 397.487 Florida Statutes 2020-25, and to update the procedures, providing the repeal of conflicting ordinances, codification, and an effective date. And this is for second reading.
I just got to say one thing real quick. You know, we had more discussion about a pergola than we did about the millage road. I mean, sorry about that.
Tax the
I was just thinking about that. Wow.
Mr. Mayor, this is on second reading ordinance 2026-03. It's to meet the state mandate for revising our reasonable accommodation procedures to include the certified recovery residents. There are other minor changes being made to make some clarifications on our reasonable accommodation procedures. It passed on first reading and staff is recommending approval on second reading without change.
I move to approve ordinance 2026-03 on second reading.
Second.
Public comment? Hearing none, back to the commission. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, number 15. Direction and revisions to the town's duration of construction due to state mandate on permit duration for single family dwelling. Christie.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So as you know, in our code, we currently have a limitation on the duration of construction. Right now, it's 2 years if you're in the single family residential estate zoning district. And for all other permits, it's 1 year, and that includes regular single family zoning district. So what the state has done this past year, which became effective July 1st, was to essentially mandate and preempt the town's duration of construction for single family dwellings, and to allow the permit to exist for a single family dwelling for at least 1 year. And I say at least 1 year because the language that's in the backup is that it allows it for 1 year, but it also depends on when the Florida Building Code next edition is renewed. And so it could actually be up to 3 years because the Florida Building Code is on a 3-year renewal cycle. So what that means for us is that our current duration of construction would need to change to adapt to that new state mandate for single family residences. So I put some options in the backup of what the commission may want to do. One of the options obviously is to send this to planning and zoning to look at it, to see, should we just include the state's required language so it's clear what single family residents have as their permit time frame, and then everything else stays for a 1-year permit time frame. There's other considerations that we may want to look at in terms of other construction in town that we know is upcoming, say like the Ocean Club. Right now, technically, they have a 1-year duration for their permit. So we may want to tweak that ordinance a little bit further to allow for, different types of permits.
Well, it seems right up the alley of planning and zoning.
Well, you want to help them? So if you remember that we put in the sunset of 2025 on the 2-year.
Yeah.
Because of COVID.
Right.
Right? So I actually talked to Christy about this early today. And then I called 2 builders. There is no way on God's earth that a builder can get a house built in 1 year in Ocean Ridge. It's not gonna happen. Maybe out by Okeechobee, yes, but in here, no. The other thing he said was kind of fascinating. The town's gotten wealthier. So the smaller homes that he used to build in 2014, he could easily do in 1 year. But the problem is now there's so much money coming in and people only have a 10,000 square foot lot, but they want the 4,500 square foot house. So they take all that extra money and they high end the heck out of their 3,500 square foot house with the new technology, new wiring, new pool stuff, new this, new that. And all that new stuff takes longer to install. So having a 1-year permit expiration is just going to cause the staff to have to give extensions, et cetera, et cetera. So if the rule coming down from Tallahassee is you have to have a year-long permit, I believe, and Chrissy will correct me if I'm wrong, we could add into that, you automatically get a 6-month extension. Then after the 6 month, now you're at 18 months, which is possibly doable in Ocean Ridge. And then you have to actually, come in front of the commission.
I don't see why we would want to have a permit that expires
Right.
during a period when we know they can't
It's
get a
not gonna
house.
happen.
That's just done.
You're creating obstacles.
Yeah, and just work for the staff and difficulty for residents.
That's what I'm saying, get rid of it.
Yeah.
Explain how, so the new edition takes effect December 31st. So if someone gets their permit on January 1st, 2027, do they have 3 years?
Correct.
And we can't do anything about that. Yep.
But you don't have to tell the person.
I just did.
Thanks.
All right, so what's the pleasure, commission? You want to send it to this planning and zoning and really look into this?
Yes.
And I can certainly, give them the thoughts that you provided
Yeah.
in terms of at least 2 years.
All right.
Yeah, thanks.
Moving on to the approval of resolution 2026-06, resolution of the commission of the town of Ocean Ridge, Florida, amending the adopted schedule of fees for various services and providing for repeal of conflicting resolutions and an effective date.
Well, let me pause for a second to tell you the amazing work that your staff has done in the last couple of weeks. And remember, I've not been here, so there was a series of conversations that happened between your town attorney and also your town clerk, who also has the hat of, wears like 14 other hats. And your building consultants and your building staff. And together, they all collaborative. I told the Commissioner Cassidy, I cannot speak today. It's day 1 back from vacation and I can't speak at all. Collaboratively came up with this amazing plan. And so the outline here, as you see, the plan review real quickly, they've changed the flat fee to $50. And again, if you want to eyeball this, if you want to put on overhead, the highlight area, $50. The approved, number 2 is approved private provider applications. And so they've moved to a 25% reduction, which is in compliance with the state suggestion.
That's if it's a private provider.
Of course, yes, only approved private provider services. Number 3 is certificate of occupancy completion fees. They've added that in there for $50 for each one. Number 4 is a technology charge, which you already discussed and approved at the last meeting, but we memorialized it here. And Number 5 is inspections. Moving to the portions regarding audit inspections, they're removing that. Updating the inspection fee performed by the building official or the inspector to $50, which is basically the charge that they charge us. So it's simply a pass-through fee. And the inspection performed by the town engineer is also a pass-through fee of their hourly rate of $125. And we're removing the special inspections portion. Number 6, penalty fees, clarifying that it was 2 times. The language used to be double. Just created some clarity there. 7, permit fees scanning. We don't do that any longer. So we removed that. And 8, special expedited out of sequence plan reviews. They're removing that as well. And that streamlines the entire process.
Can I
And
ask a
your
question about number
resolution.
1?
Yes, ma'am.
So change the flat $50 fee to what the current contracted official charges after their plan. What is that amount?
So currently, the plan review fee will be what they charge on each rate. And so each of the professional services charges something different. And so, the hourly rate for the engineer is $125. The hourly rate for inspections, if you did inspections, is $75 with the hourly rate for the building inspector is $75 and he's got a 2-hour minimum. So it could be that, unless it's something that's just a quick approval, like an AC change out. So on some of those, he charges $50. And if it's just a re-review, he may not charge at all. So all we're saying here is that whatever the contract is with our professional services at that time, because annually these contracts might change, but at that time will be the pass-through fee that the end user will receive. And so really just reinforcing what the state statute says, which is we're not to make money off of the building exercise.
Kelly?
I was just going to explain that basically now when somebody submits a permit, they pay their building fee. And then once it goes to reviews, each reviewer puts in their own review fee in there based on their contracted amount. So just like she said, a pass through.
It'll be, so the transparency is even clearer now because all the contractors have access to the software, BSNA. And
How's
so
that software work?
depends on who you ask and what day. Most of the time it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. We do have some blind spots still. I think a good example is recently the mayor was putting a permit in and asked a lot of questions about the process, which made us, come together as a team in the last couple of months and say, the process is broken and we need to create some more efficiencies. And so that's what we've been doing.
It was an eye opening.
It's the one where the engineer's not in the loop.
Yeah, no, it's just like the house. I did it myself. Yeah. It's difficult.
Getting better every day. It's getting better every day.
It's getting better.
And then one day I'm going to come to you and say, there's a better option and this is how much it costs. But until then, we're going to keep working to make this be the best option possible.
Try it. See. It just need, there's tweaks and things that you had to do that weren't on the computer that you couldn't do. And you only could do it by calling. And when you call, oh, you don't need to do that, or you can do this. But that's the whole point. If you have it on the computer, you don't have to call. But unfortunately I had to call. And then, but it was good because we're able to pull out.
So some of that's been fixed.
Yes.
Some of it's been fixed.
Some of it's been fixed. That's correct.
I move to approve resolution 2026-06 as presented.
Second.
Public comment? Hearing none, back to commission. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. All righty, moving on to discussion of possible candidates for town commission vacancy. All right, so do we have anybody in mind? Anybody want to make a
I do.
suggestion?
Yes. I would like to propose consideration of Lynette Gustafson for the vacant town commission seat. We've discussed it at length and she is very interested in taking on this position. Lynette's currently on the Planning and Zoning Commission. I've known Lynette and her husband Eric. Tim and I have known them for most of the 10 years that we've lived here. They've been in town for over 20 years. Lynette's a hardworking professional. She works in capital markets. She's an independent thinker and a team player, whether it's golf or business. And she's smart and thoughtful, and I think she'd be a refreshing, bring refreshing new ideas to the commission. And quite honestly, I would love to have another committee.
I would say I also, Susie and I know Lynette and Eric. We've known you for 8 years, I think, and I echo everything that Carolyn said. I would be support.
I had a couple other townsfolk that approached me. I just have one question for Lynette. Availability. Like in the summers, you're here and all that. Okay, if you guys are already kind of, well, you got 2 people, are you gonna speak on Lynette?
Speaker.
So I guess it's a no, we can't lose. In other words, it's like a tryout, which is kind of interesting. There are other candidates that are viable, but I'm willing to go with you guys and have a fresh face.
Okay. Have you had a discussion with Lynette?
Yeah.
So we've all talked to Lynette, I've talked to Lynette. Then you want to come on up and give us a little history of yourself real quick?
I didn't prepare her.
Well, that's what, hey, if you're going to sit up here, you have to be surprised sometimes.
Thank you. Thank you all for your support. I am Lynette Gustafson. I live at 15 Adams Road. I have lived at 15 Adams Road for the last couple of years, but prior to that, 20 years at 6665 North Ocean Boulevard, also known as the Tamarind. I came to Ocean Ridge via Chicago, and my husband, Eric Gustafson, was in Chicago, which is how we met. Eric and his family moved here in the area in 1973. So we have decided to come back, or he decided to come back, and I joined him. So Ocean Ridge has been such a unique town. I think I said to you, Mr. Mayor, it's a really hidden, unknown gem. When I say I'm from Delray, I only say that because nobody knows really where Ocean Ridge is. I really haven't participated as, anything in the town. I've been quite busy with my own business, which is capital markets. And when we spoke, the 4 of us individually, I decided that being on the planning and zoning had kind of prepared me for town service. So I think I would do a good job. As you said, I would bring some fresh ideas. I plan on staying in Ocean Ridge probably until death do us part. And so those are my quick comments.
I got a question. So can you clarify exactly your relationship with Gustafson Roofing?
No relationship.
Yeah.
And my husband's family came via Europe and really didn't have any family here in South Florida. So they're really from the Midwest and the Northeast, and just happens to be coincidental.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, well, there are certainly a lot of qualified people out there. We appreciate you putting your name in there. Is there, if you guys would make a motion? And we've been told by the town manager how important it is to have the 4th over and over again for the budget, so.
I would like to,
For September, for sure.
I would like to make a motion to appoint Lynette Gustafson to the vacant town commission seat.
I second.
Any public comment? Hearing none. Back to the commission. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Welcome, Lynette. We'll see you next month. All right. Right, so approval to award the contract for ITB 26-002 Harbor Drive North Drainage, 4 long years.
My goodness, it's really happening. Mr. Mayor, an RFP has been placed, as you know, out. The invitation to bid was out for Harbor Drive North. And our former engineering company firm, Ingenuity, was in charge of the portion which helped with this procurement process to make sure that their plans were properly presented for the procurement. And their recommendation, as you can see from your backup memo, is for the top 3 organizations and firms. Number 1, Heavy Civil Incorporation. They came in with a bid of $496,692.02. That was the lowest bid and also the closest to what has been projected for all these years. We have had on our capital improvement plan $450,000. So it's not too far off considering it's been many years since that original number went out there. And with your approval, we will move forward with finalizing a contract with Heavy Civil Incorporated. If there's any issues there, then I would also like to have your permission and consensus to go to number 2 or then to number 3 so that we do not lose time.
What was our fees for those?
It's on the,
It's on this chart.
on the chart on the back.
The one that's fairly read.
Yeah.
That you couldn't read.
Oh, it's on the projection.
I have my reading glasses. I still can't read.
Yeah, Kelly's
The
got it up
projected.
front
Oh,
for us.
Where's the total 628?
you have to
You
move it
see
over a little.
over to the
There we
right.
go.
So
Oh,
6,
yeah.
Oh.
Somebody
six-
put in $1 million?
the big chunk,
Yeah.
yes,
So number 2 is 642, so it's
Yes.
a meaningful.
Yeah.
It's a material difference.
Yeah.
it really is. And then number 3 is Johnson Davis, which as you know, is already contracted with us for other projects.
Where's theirs?
And there's squish it over
So when will they start?
628.
Scroll down to the actual, there was an error in calculation.
660. I don't anticipate any issues with Heavy Civil. They've been chomping at the bit to see if you were going to approve this. I'm sure they're watching right now. So I don't anticipate any issues with number 1.
So is there any chance it'll be done by hurricane season?
We are told that there's a maximum of 180 days. Is what we're saying.
I was curious.
It depends on when we start, when they
That's
start.
what I'm getting at.
Right.
You start the,
I mean,
or springtime?
December 1st, spring time. Down. December 1st. We're tearing up the whole road. Within 36-inch pipe at the end of the road. I think, yeah.
So it might not be till next fall.
Hopefully
No,
it's
no, no.
sometime in January, February. It's gonna be a mess. But needs to be done.
Yeah, that's,
Okay,
Right, I move to award Heavy Civil Inc. as the contractor for the Harbor Drive North Drainage Improvement Project.
second.
public discussion.
Terry Brown, Harbor Drive South. Yeah, this is Harbor Drive North. How far up did you say they're going to tear up the road?
All the way up to, remember, football player
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah,
to his house.
yeah, he moved out.
Yeah. But he
But
moved around the corner.
I know,
He still lives in those?
He moved right around the corner. I mean, that 2 house.
he bought the big house when you come in,
The noon.
the 6,000 square foot house.
One that Raider Brody used to?
Yeah.
Well, the one they built the house.
Yeah.
for,
Yeah. But the question is, in terms of elevation of the road, is the slope increases as you go down now, or I mean, how's that gonna work with the water?
Well, there's gonna be 1, 2, 3.
Catch basins?
Catch basins. And they're all gonna be on the north side of the road. That's gonna go right straight to the cul-de-sac, and then from there, just remember the 2 5-foot easements we got from the 2 homeowners?
So when they rebate, they'll take the belly out of the road?
Oh, God.
Yeah,
We got that-
because that's
that
where-
elevation change, got change going.
that's
into
where it sits. Yeah. Looking forward to.
Yeah, me too. Right, thank you. Back to the commission, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you. My whole street will thank you.
Just on a personal note, we were so close to having this, bringing it forward for our former commissioner, for Dave to be a part of, and it breaks my heart that he's not here to be a part of seeing it come to fruition.
Yeah, because his drain was draining most of the street. All right. Michelle, you're.
Number 19 is the temporary construction easement. Can't see now that I've got tears there. And I'm asking you to approve that temporary construction easement, and this will enable us to move forward with construction and have the access. This will give the access with Palm Beach County. Look, that's it.
That's it?
Yeah, a motion to approve the temporary construction easement.
So. I was just gonna say, so moved.
As recorded.
Second.
Public comment? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, number 20, commissioners, I would like you to take a look at where it says the hourly rate not to exceed and put a line through that number that's there. That was incorrect number. And so Christy and I have been quickly putting some numbers together on this dais, and the not to exceed number I'm going to ask you to approve tonight is 62,400 on this contract. We're going to go through and clarify the hourly
Is that where it
Projection.
says 39?
no, on the front page.
Says 23.
23 full.
On the front page.
And 39 now, and that's 30.
And what number did you change it?
62.
62.4, and what we will do between now and the next meeting is really just go through and create some clarity on that contract, but this will enable us to get started. What this is doing is enabling our engineering from Orlando with Craig A. Smith to immediately start with Harbor Drive North and be able to be the eyes and ears for the town while the program begins. And so it'll be a transition moving from Ingenuity to Craig A. Smith. And Orlando has been a part of this from the beginning. I don't know if you want to say anything, Orlando, but he won't miss a beat because he's been part of the conversations with Lisa and Ingenuity since the procurement process has started. And the smooth transition is that they basically will be operating as our CEI services, construction, environmental inspections.
Good evening. So Orlando Rubio from Craig A. Smith and Associates, 1425 East Newport Center Drive, Deerfield Beach. All right, so as Michelle said, our contract is to perform the construction engineering inspection services for the project. One task is for my engineering services doing the construction. The other task is for my field rep to be out here. We estimate about 24 hours a week. Both of us will be billing hourly. So if the job's going well, won't be anywhere near what these numbers entail. So I phoned today the contractor to get a hold of him to start, let him know that an award's coming. We'll be scheduling a pre-con meeting within this month to get a start date from them. Just keeping staff updated on the progress of the work.
Great.
Yeah.
So what bad things did you were referring to that may happen?
Well, not bad things, anything that's,
Yeah.
they've, like anything, surveying, utility locating, they sometimes when you dig, things are not what they're say they were, and we have to address them. Sometimes it's minor. I mean, if you move a box a foot over, a foot back, that's not a big deal.
Okay.
Sometimes you gotta go deeper. That could initiate a change order because now they gotta dig deeper and test more, all that stuff, but we'll see how it goes.
So he will keep them the contractor honest on any type of change order that might come forward. He'll be part of being in the field and noticing whether it needs to happen and if there's a different way to work around.
Right, so we'll review all the pay requests, scheduling, make sure they're monitoring their construction activity, that they're having a clean operation. Because, you know, you don't want any turbid water out into coastal, but, you know, Florida Marine Patrol might come out and find them if they don't have anything in place. Ingenuity will still be involved in that they have to, they're gonna be reviewing the shop drawing because that involves their design. Any questions relating to the design will be passed to Ingenuity for them to respond. You know, and we'll handle it that way. Because that's, they're the engineer of record. I will still certify the project because I'm certifying the construction, not the design. Designs are already put done. That's it. Sounds good.
And as you know, we already have a contract with the firm. This is a task order, so it's above and beyond their typical scope. And the way that we have our contracts set up, our attorney has set it up so that when it's these extended task orders, they can be clearly defined. So we can hold everyone accountable, and then we clearly have an amount that we have budgeted for.
Isn't in the contract, there's no change?
It's a perfect job.
Thank you so much, Elaine.
You're welcome. Thanks.
So in the future, you know, before the end of this fiscal year, I'll bring you a budget amendment on this line item. And so we'll see that overall budget number go up due to the contract amount that we anticipate, and then also these additional engineering costs.
You need a motion on this?
Yes, I need a motion to approve the task order.
Move that we approve the task order.
Second.
Motion second, any other public discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Sure.
Yes, sir. Couple things I'd like to give you on an update. There's a concern from FPNL on the palm trees that we have in the front of town hall that are right by the flagpole. So those two palm trees, I think it's two, maybe it's three. They go straight up into the wires. And so we've been, of course, trimming them, but there's no escaping it. They're just getting entangled in the wires at this point. FPNL has offered to remove the trees at their cost. And they're asking that we do not plant anything else that will grow as far as a tree is concerned underneath the wires at that location.
Sounds
And-
reasonable to me.
Yes,
Yeah. Good point.
But by the time the trees got that high, they will have buried the legs in.
oh, that's very optimistic of you, yes.
What kind of palm trees are they?
The tall, thin ones that are,
Oh,
yeah, I don't know. I have to ask the garden club.
Jerry.
If you'd like, I can work with the garden club and see if they have some suggestions on something else to plant there.
We gotta
Would you like
plant something else.
to do? Can I do that? Yeah. All right, well, in the meantime, I'll reach out, and then in the meantime, we'll go ahead and tell FPNL that they can remove them, and then I'll work to see what we can replace and keep it nice. The other thing they're doing is they're taking away from the view of the flags, and so I don't know if you've even noticed, but there is not just the American flag, but we have the town flag flying. Vice
Yeah.
Mayor Kaz asked me to,
Well, we have those.
make that happen many months ago, and I don't think anybody's ever noticed it, so it looks nice up there, though.
Because of palm trees.
Yeah.
How about the roof? I mean, anybody notice the roof, how nice it looks? Yeah, doesn't it look nice?
Yeah,
They did a good job.
they did.
Did a good job.
They're very safety conscious.
Also, they cleaned up very well each night. Before we started, I was taking under and over bets on how many tires we were going to have to replace, and we really only had to replace one, I believe, right? I think on Deb's Mustang, I think, maybe. It was it.
Yeah,
Um,
that roof banging had.
Just crazy time.
Excessive.
Want to thank the staff while I was absent on vacation. Just fluid, just easy. I mean, it really just speaks volumes to the people that you have working on your team. Want to make sure we call that out. And I want to invite, I want to invite everyone here, and of course, anybody else, to the next meeting, not just because we will have a new commissioner, but also we're going to do a little celebration for the 10-year anniversary for our chief of police. Yeah, so this month is actually his 10-year anniversary, and then next month will be the next level of this level of service. And so I think we'll plan on having a nice sheet cake. Maybe we'll do half of it, welcome, and then the other half, thanks for staying. But please come if you'd like to come, like 15 minutes early. We'll have some coffee set up and some cake to celebrate.
Great,
Okay.
So the plaque.
We have a proclamation ready to go, actually. And actually, it's, Kelly and I were speaking, and she challenged me. She said, is this something we're going to do for everyone? And I said, we should be doing this for everyone who's here 10 years or more, on these milestones. We should recognize them in front of the commission, and the commission should have a chance to say thank you. So I think it's, something you're going to see in the future again. So on these 5-year increment marks, you hit 10 years, absolutely, you get something in front of the commission. And then
Great.
beyond that.
Sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. Those are my updates. Thank you.
Thank you. Any question?
No report, thank you.
Thank you. Chief?
Yes, sir. My police report's in there. I attached the fire rescue report for your review. If you have any questions, be happy to answer them. They were active 423 stops and 11 arrests.
I was just gonna say 423.
We had, I guess in May, we had a resident, talk about, traffic problems, speeding cars on, Ocean View Drive, if you remember.
Yeah.
So we deployed, our traffic, our radar, mobile traffic counter radar, collector. We tracked 4,000 vehicles. It sat there from May 14th to June 8th, tracked 4,000 vehicles. And, that's a small, short road there. And only 4 vehicles were traveling at 26 miles per hour, 2 at 27, and 1 at 29, and 2 at 33. So that's a very small fraction out of the 4,000, but the speed limit is 25. And if there's a sign that says otherwise, that we can't afford it, 25 is the limit. So out of the 4,000, that's a.
Have you
small
told
number.
the,
Most of the vehicles were in the teens.
have you told the resident this, the 2 residents that came in?
I will reach out to them.
I'm amazed by 4,000 cars.
Yeah,
Me too.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah, it's 20, that's 20, running 24 hours a day. It's collecting every car from May 14th to June 8th.
You don't know which vehicles were speeding,
Well, you gotta remember, there's people living there too. That's
Yeah.
according to their.
right? But I assume the speeders were delivery trucks. I've been out there.
Amazon.
I have a question about the traffic stops. Are they mostly non-residents?
I would say majority are non.
Anything else, Chief?
No, sir.
I have one more that I forgot to tell you. Just FYI, the audit for fiscal year 2025, thank God, is done. It's completed. It took a lot of hands to get it done, but it's completed, and Ron will be here, your auditor will be here at the next commission meeting to give your presentation. But in an effort to allow you to look at it before he gets here, I have a copy for each of you. So ready to go.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Is that can't sleep very
That's your
This-
light reading material. You can, yes, you can place this wherever you do your light reading.
And we did have the first meeting of the audit selection committee yesterday.
Today?
So was that today?
It was today. You've been doing a lot of things, sir.
It's been a long day.
Yes.
Tim and Carolyn Galliat, 2 of our residents are part of that committee. So we've got a process in place, and hopefully we'll get some bidders.
Yes.
I had one question for the chief. The 205, what do we call it, walk-ins handled by dispatch in the month of May.
Dog treats.
Is it-
Well, that's every visitor that comes up to walk in the front lobby there, they take a record.
They what?
They count everybody that comes in the front lobby there.
Oh, in the front. I thought it was dispatch only, like the police.
That's right.
Right, our
Oh,
front,
that's what you thought.
yeah,
Yeah.
the police side.
It's pretty
Anything
impressive.
else? Anything else? Who? Oh, I didn't I thought that was Commissioner Collins' presentation. Go ahead.
No. Just two things. You recall the McAndrew Fruitsil, who made the presentation about trying to obtain a grant to purchase 102 Bonito. He can't be here tonight. He will be here at the August meeting. And he did come back to me saying he does have the neighbors organized in support of it. And also he confirmed, but he hasn't yet to formally confirm because we haven't seen anything, that there is no public access requirement for the Flow Forever.
So what does that mean to us? With like fence it?
No, it just means it's not, it's going to be owned by a nonprofit and it's not public.
Remember, we were concerned that
We were
uh,
concerned
right,
that.
but-
unintended consequence might be that there'd be people
Right.
coming there
The
and
fact that it doesn't
camping out.
require public access doesn't mean publicly used.
Well, they'd be trespassing.
That means they're not allowed.
What do you think, Christie?
Um,
I mean,
it's like any lot that's not occupied. There's always a concern about access and it becoming a call issue to your police department. But
but there's no requirement that we have to allow.
No,
that's correct. That's correct.
That's,
that's.
that
that's-
solves a huge.
That was a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. So he'll be here next month too. And the other thing I just want to say is just kudos to Michelle because we've gotten a couple of very wonderful grants, one being to acquire the Priest property, which came with, you are awarded the grant, but then you have to have a grant management plan. And similar to the town hall hardening project and the roof, there are deadlines and sometimes they move those deadlines and move them up. And thanks to Michelle's polite insistence, everything got done.
That's pretty cool.
We have a management plan for the mangrove property. We're gonna be meeting with the county next week about exploring possibilities for the recreation element.
That's moving to the next month, by the way, just to make sure everybody's going.
Okay.
But that's okay. We're not on a tight timeline.
Okay.
Longer.
Yeah.
Thank you. Very nice of you.
Well, might as well add that the demeanor she should have seen what she did to the FBL there.
Well,
The lights on all of it.
I said polite insistence. I was trying to be gentle.
Yes.
She gets stuff done.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you, everybody, for coming. We'll see you next month.
Everybody.
So Christie.
Make sure.
Yeah.
Stop.
So what?